It's time to take off your clothes, enjoy clothes-free living, and join us for Naked, Nudists, and Naturists.
Welcome to Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, the show that celebrates clothes-free living for all. I'm your host, Frank Stone.
And I'm your correspondent, Lisa Monroe, and I'll be reporting on all things within the naturist community. So it's time to get naked and join us.
And enjoy clothes-free living on Naked, Nudists, and Naturists. Well, greetings and welcome in to Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, episode 178 today, the 35th straight Wednesday for the Lisa Frank extravaganza. You know what? Some people have asked why we point that out on every show, that we do a show every Saturday and every Wednesday and all that good stuff. It's because, I guess, two reasons. First of all, nobody's ever done it in the naturism world. Nobody's ever done every single Saturday for almost 3 years. It just hasn't happened. It hardly happens in any field or any genre, but in the naturism world, it's never happened. An exactly 1 hour show every Saturday for, I believe, 142 or 143 straight Saturdays now. It's never happened before, so we kind of think it's a big deal around here. That's why we mention that. When we first started, there were people who said, well, we'll see how this pans out. It's probably not going to work because podcasting, radio work is a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of hours. There are some shortcuts you can take, but for the most part, you have to do the work. AI won't really pitch in here. You have to do the nitty-gritty work, and it does get time-consuming and sometimes laborious. So there were people who thought, even after our second episode, well, they did 2 Saturdays, we'll see how it goes. Well, we've seen how it's gone. 142, 143 Saturdays later, still here, bumping them out every single Saturday. And then, because of listener requests, we want more Lisa Frank time on the Saturdays. We didn't have that time available, so we decided, since we had no time to spare, why don't we just start a brand new show on Wednesdays with the time that we do not have? And we did, and that's mostly Lisa Frank time. No guests on those shows, no interviews anyway. And that's what we're doing here, these Wednesday extravaganzas. Again, the 35th straight Wednesday. So does it sound like we're pleased as punch and happy as clams? Well, I hope so, because we are, and we know that you are too, based upon the feedback that you give to us. So come on in. The pool feels like $1 million. The hot tub is going full blast. The grill is going full bore. And as I'm overlooking the grill from the windows of the studio, guess who's our grill master today? Brian King. Do you remember Brian King? He was on the show several months ago from the Orlando area. Discovered naturism through this show and through other resources. And met up with Rick Dorsiak at Lake Como, who gave him a tour. And life has been great for Brian ever since he discovered naturism fairly recently. So he's down there right now cooking up steaks. And when the show is over, we will head down there for a delicious dinner, so come on over and join us. We also have fruits and vegetables off to the right, cold drinks off to the left, hot drinks inside. If you leave the pool area on the left, we have that hammock. That's a comfortable hammock. Need a break, need a quick nap, that's the place to go. If you head out back, we have some putting greens. You can practice your golf back there. Some bocce ball action off to the right. And if you come back inside, in the back left corner of the pool area, still screened in, we have our cigar bar for you, and you can help yourself there. No charge, just enjoy the day. And if you brought nothing at all, if you were driving along and forgot to bring anything or forgot that it was even Wednesday, we have additional chairs for you and suntan lotion and towels, so there is no excuse. So again, just come on in. Come on in and let's enjoy clothes-free living for the next hour or so. Well, on today's show, we are going to go over some feedback that we got on last week's show when Bob and Hank came in here and sang their little ditty for Playa Sonrisa with Blaney and Steve. and some interaction we've had with them. And again, your reaction as listeners. We'll talk about that for a little bit. Lisa and I, for the first time in a long time, finally got out of here for a little bit and went over to the Nude Beach. And we'll talk about that for a little bit. What a great place. If we could live on the Nude Beach, I just pitch a tent, and that would be our house. I think that would be the greatest place in the world to live. So we'll talk about our experience there that we had very recently. And then Lisa saw some kind of a Paris fashion show where lots of breasts were being shown. I don't remember if she said flat out bare skin or totally sheer outfits, but breasts were on full display. And if they can do it there, why can't we do it here, is her basic premise. So we will get to that as well. And speaking of Lisa, there she is. Good morning. They can't hear you yet, but come on in, sit down. Lisa is here, so let's get to it. And it's a good time because I think under my voice I hear music. Can you hear anything? Let's listen together. Oh, yes, I can hear it. You can hear it too. That can only mean one thing. It's time for the great, the terrific, the one-of-a-kind, the completely clothes-free and fully smiling, our Naturism correspondent, Lisa Monroe. And here she is, the one and only, the one-of-a-kind, the completely clothes-free and fully smiling, our Naturism correspondent, Lisa Monroe. Good morning, Lisa. How are you today?
Good morning, Frank. I am doing well, and really and truly, is this Wednesday again?
It is, and looking at the notes before the show, this is our 35th, as in 3-5, 40 minus 5, 30 plus 5, 35th straight Wednesday. Can you believe that? Are you tired yet, or are you hanging in there?
I'm hanging in there. Tired is a relative word, I guess. Some days are like, what do I have to do today? And oh my gosh, do I have to do it? But you know what? We do it and we go on. And it's pretty clear. But I think that I'm enjoying it so much that the days just kind of run into each other. And I have to be reminded, is this a show on a Saturday or is this a Wednesday? I don't know. So I just roll with the punches. I stop talking when you tell me that'll work.
Yeah. Who knows what day it is half the time. And how many times in your career, because I know I had many, you're looking forward to leaving at some point, maybe even on a Friday, like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, I'm gone. Something happens at the last minute. You realize, well, I guess I'm staying till 8 or 9 tonight. I like a couple of gazillion times for you.
Yes, a couple of gazillion times, and sometimes it was like 11 or 12 o'clock at night, and sometimes it was a Saturday morning at 7 o'clock, and you're in trying to figure out how you're going to deal with the issue that was just put in front of you. And so 24/7 is not a uncommon thing for me and for you either, I think, in the positions we had. So
no, I think the worst I ever had in terms of time, I got up at 4 in the morning, worked out, started getting ready at 5, left my house by 5:45. I got home the next day at 3 in the morning, and then skipped the workout at 4, got up at 5. So I got a whopping 2 hours sleep and did it again. Now, I didn't stay till 3 a.m. the next day, but things happen. And that's partially what I believe has prepared us and trained us for this. Okay, we'd like to take maybe a 7 to 9 year nap, but no, there's a show. Let's go. And here we are, 35 straight Wednesdays. And I know you recall, and hopefully the listeners do too, this was never meant to be an every Wednesday show. It was supposed to be, I think the term I used, most Wednesdays.
Most Wednesdays.
And our thought was twice a month, 3 times, occasionally in a month. But certainly not every Wednesday, but here we are, 35 in a row. How about that?
I just think we are either gluttons for punishment or we love what we're doing. I'm not sure. And I'm pretty sure it's that we really enjoy doing this show and interacting with people. And it's just great. So, but like I said, I have trouble trying to remember, is this Wednesday or is this Saturday? Or on Friday, I will go, what day is it? And do the same thing on Monday or Tuesday. And I remember I walked in the studio one day and I looked at Jennifer and I said, I have no clue what day it is. Could you
Yeah.
please tell me? And she laughed and she said, "Well, I think it's because I
Yeah.
think she has the same issue."
Well, she's busting
We're rubbing
tail
off on her.
7 days
Hmm.
a week too. A lot of people don't know that. Not on this show. She
Yeah.
has other things to do,
No.
but she's in
Yes.
here 7 days a week. Doesn't have to be. That's what she chooses to
No.
do. So yeah, for her to lose track of days, sure, it just goes
Yep.
into it. And I know this one couple. They are on the opposite end of the spectrum in terms of doing things. They're
Hmm.
retired. They're kicking back and doing as little as possible, other than relaxing and enjoying life. And they call it Sunday, Monday, Sunday, Tuesday, Sunday, Wednesday. Like every
Hmm.
day is a Sunday to
I
them.
like that. I like that. But there's a saying that if you live in the Keys, there's only two times of day that matter: sunrise and sunset. And I love that philosophy, to be
Yeah.
perfectly honest with you. Would like to be able to kind of roll with the punches and do what I want to when I want to, but still do things.
Hmm.
But I've always loved that sunrise, sunset, only time that matters.
Yeah.
Works for me.
I think there was a song by that title. How about that?
I do believe there was.
Back in the
I
day,
don't think it was
way
written
before we
about,
were born. Yeah.
yes, very much so, but I do remember hearing it at one point in time.
Yeah. For whatever reason, I
And
was
then, well,
for well, a couple of for no reasons at all. The first for no reason at all. I was in a couple of wedding bands. We played wedding receptions. No reason at all.
mhm.
Actually, there were reasons. They paid a lot of money. The bottom line.
Funny how that works. Money, helps when you're doing things like that, especially that kind of level of expertise. So go ahead.
Yeah, you're not going to be playing a lot of Beethoven or Mozart, but you will play
Nope.
Proud Mary by Creedence Clearwater Revival and Feelings by Morris Albert, and you make a lot of money doing it. So that's the first no reason.
Yes.
The second for no reason at
Yes.
all is they would have the father-daughter dance. Now I understand that. And of course the song
Yes.
always requested Daddy's Little Girl. That's a great, great
Oh
tune.
my gosh.
Sugar, your spice, your everything nice, your daddy's
Yeah.
little girl.
Yes.
Well, then at some point, people started asking, well, we should have equal rights here. Let's have a mother son dance. Great.
Mm-hmm.
And people
Okay.
chose. I didn't tell them what to do. They asked us, can you play Sunrise, Sunset? And there are some lyrics in there that make sense that would appeal to that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I know
Yes.
that song because it was written
Yes.
long before we were born. Otherwise, we wouldn't have known. How about that?
No, we would not have known. But it's a beautiful song anyway,
Yeah.
from a beautiful place. So it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's good.
Oh, what play do you know?
Fiddler on the Roof.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot all about that. So,
Mhm.
when did that become popular? In the 50s or 60s? Is that when it
You know,
was?
I don't know. I mean, from the time I was young, it was that music was in choir, and we knew about it. So I'm not really sure exactly when it became a popular play, but it is an incredible play, and the music is unbelievable from that. So
Yeah.
Sunrise Sunset is a gorgeous song to play. I think for mother or son. I mean, for a father or daughter dance or a mother son dance, because
Hmm.
it just talks about that growing up and that passage of child to adult, and how quickly that happens.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's literally feels like, a flash of lightning and suddenly they're 25 years old. So,
Exactly.
at any rate, let's get into the actual show today.
When did we ever do that? No, on Wednesday
Occasionally,
anyway.
yeah.
But
We have gotten a lot of feedback from last Wednesday's show when Bob and Hank came in and we talked about Playa Sonrisa. And of
Mhm.
course, people are amazed at that place.
Yeah.
People who hadn't heard of it before, they've heard of it now, and a lot of people are making plans to get down there. But the feedback was particularly aimed at Bob and Hank for their little ditty, when they came in and sang Vaya con Dios, but change it to Playa Sonrisa. And I guess maybe I should change my attitude toward them. I kind of look at them as pains in the neck. Like, do you
Mhm.
guys really need to come in yet again? And they did. And a good time was had by all.
I think it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And, you know, Bob is a character into himself. We could probably just sit and talk to him for a while and it would be hilarious. And well, Hank is Hank, we know these guys, they're kind of crazy, but the whole thing about, their little ditty about Playa Sonrisa was fun and meant totally in jest, but not in jest about the beauty of that place
Mm-hmm.
and about the, I think, amazing thing that they're trying to do there to give some real credence to an area where it will be safe for naturists and that we won't lose what we have.
Mm-hmm.
And developers will go do that. So I'm all for what they're doing.
Yeah, it's very smart for them to take that land and develop it for themselves instead of letting
Yes.
textile businesses get in. And then they'd be surrounded by textile places. And
Hmm.
maybe there could be pressure on them down the road. Hey, enough of this naked stuff. Get clothes on, or we're going to close you down. I don't know if that
Yeah,
would
because
happen, but you never know, right?
well, but, think about it. If a developer came in and developed property on the other side of the road from the beach, and there was somebody between them and the beach for their people that they were selling to, then odds are they would go after them hook, line, and sinker
Mm-hmm.
and really try to push them out. Kind of like Mark's play that we just did, the
Yeah,
vanishing,
yeah.
thing, because that exactly is what was happening there, and that's what happens all the places. So, these are two very smart people. They have done an
Mm-hmm.
amazing job with the development that they've done so far at the resort, but to be this forward thinking to protect not only their resort but the rights of naturists and give them something in return. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I hope that they're highly successful.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And they have been and they will continue to be. Obviously, they're always thinking ahead. And but back to Bob and Hank for a minute. A good
Yes.
time was had by all, and uh, both of them individually are fun to talk to, and they're drop dead hilarious. Now, to me, Hank tries to be funny. Bob is just naturally funny without even realizing that he is. So we
Yes.
have that
Very
aspect going
true.
on too.
Bob's at sunrise, sunset time of the day. That's
Yeah,
about the
right.
only thing that matters to him.
Yeah, sometimes Bob will ask, days after a show because he's had time to process it. Why we started laughing after he said something. I said, well,
Mhm.
Bob, it was hilarious. And he would say, well, I don't understand what was so funny about it. And I try to explain he never gets why he's funny. So I guess we just let that go.
Yeah.
Bob, you're a very humorous guy. We're not laughing at you, we're laughing with you. And again, Hank, he goes for the big laugh every time he says hello. He's trying to get a reaction out of people. So they make
Very.
quite the pair of a duet when they sing, don't they?
They certainly do. And I think and it was fun to read some of the comments because people were like, those guys are hilarious. And, I think one of them, didn't one of them say something about how um, off key one of them was or something? And I don't think that they really were, but they, I guess it's just that combination of voices that makes it sound really kind of weird and funky and fun. And so it was great. I'm glad
Well,
people enjoyed it.
well, no, we didn't get a comment that they were off key. You yourself said that during the show, which ticked off
I
Hank,
did,
as you
didn't I?
recall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did. Oh, we did get a comment from it, but I had forgotten. I said that too. Maybe that's where the comment came from somebody going, "Yeah, you're right." But yeah, I think Hank took offense at that, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, the good thing about them is with all the nonsense and all the noise surrounding them before, during, and after a show, when they actually hunker down to sing, they're pretty serious about it. They do take their preparation seriously. And so I guess we have to take the 99% bad to get the 1% great.
Yes,
To us, that's a fair trade off. How about that?
it certainly is, and I just enjoy it. And they're champions of naturism, and it's just so. This is a really good thing. They love to come in and contribute, and so it's just great. And we have love having them here. And we'll have Bubba back at some point in time, and maybe Andre.
Oh, you talk about taking the oxygen out of a room. Either one of those guys, Bubba or Andre, alone, it's hard to
Yes,
breathe. But you get two, three, or all four, then it's pretty much you better bring the oxygen tanks and have EMS outside in case we need more.
I agree completely.
Yeah, but anyway, let's move along here. You and I recently went to a nude beach for a few
Mhm.
hours. We couldn't spend forever there,
Mm.
and we won't identify the beach for various reasons. But I am telling you, as tough as it is to get to the nude beach for us,
Mhm.
once there, once sitting down, you just cannot beat that feeling. It's
No.
everything we talk about on the show. The breeze on your skin, the sun right on your face and your whole body. We I had iced tea. You had something else, and I don't know what did you have in that bottle. Did you just have water or what?
It was my tumbler, and I had water with a little mango peach flavoring in
Okay,
it.
okay. And so we did that and sat there and took it all in, and eventually went for a walk up and down the beach. Went swimming for a little while. Ocean water's a little chilly, but we made it
Yes.
through, and we were so hot from being in the sun, it
Yeah.
cooled us off a little bit. And then we met a few folks along the way. But overall, I really enjoyed that day, and I wish we could go there every day, but it's just not feasible logistically. Any thoughts on that?
Oh, it's not feasible at all, unfortunately for us, because it is kind of tough to get to for us. But there is nothing better. I mean, it's almost like this anticipation. You get out of the car and you want to run because you want to get there as quickly as possible. And it's just, we've talked about it 1,000 times. Naturism is the freedom to feel like you are just part of the world. I mean, you feel the air, you hear the ocean, you can feel the cool water on your feet or whatever you get in the ocean to as far as you get in. It's just in the sun. I'm a sun worshiper, have been all of my life. And it's just to lay there and feel that sun on you. Oh, it's amazing.
I'm not sure how far we walked. I'm guessing about a mile based on
Yeah.
the time that we walked. So a mile out and then a mile back. So a 2 mile walk. And I could do that all day long too, just right on the beach. And if your feet get a little hot from the sand, you just move a
Yeah.
couple feet over and you're in the ocean, cool off, and just keep going. And people were waving to us as we passed by. Not that they recognized us,
Yeah.
but just a couple of people enjoying the nude beach. So were they. Hey, how you guys doing? And a few people called us over. We were talking to some people.
Mm-hmm.
I am telling you for sure, as many times as I've been to the textile beach in my life, that never happens. You
No.
don't walk up and down a textile beach and say, "Hey, why don't you two come over here and have
Mm-hmm.
something out of our cooler? It'd be great to get to know you."
Mm-hmm.
But at a nude beach, it happens quite a bit, doesn't it?
It does. And I think it's because all the pretenses are washed away. Everybody's just who they are. And there is a sense of camaraderie between people that are like minded, like we are. I mean, as far as, no one cares who you are, what you are. It's just, hey, you are, and you're one of
That's true.
us, and
Yeah.
that's a good thing. So nothing wrong with that at all.
No, and that is what it comes down to. We've said that many times in this show. You take all the nonsense away, including the clothes, and you're just you, and I'm just me, and he's just him, and she's just her. And now we're just enjoying the day, having good conversation. And that one couple we met, Bob, not the same Bob we have on the show,
Mm-hmm.
but Bob and Cindy. We're
Mm-hmm.
probably going to have them over at some point. We talked about this a little bit. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like we bonded and maybe could become really good friends just having met on the nude beach.
I
Do you
agree.
agree?
I
Yeah,
mean,
okay.
they were a lovely couple, and they are brand new to naturism, and we could tell that they were a tiny bit nervous when because they sat down really close to us,
Mhm.
so it was just you can almost, after you've done this a while, you can almost feel that first time jitters that that everybody has when they first go to a new beach,
Mhm.
and then the second that they realized they were nude and nobody cared, then you saw them relax, and it was just fun when we kind of let them engage us. And it was really fun once we got to talk to them, and they had a lot of questions about how long you become, et cetera, et cetera. So it was cool.
It's funny to me, but it's also very true. And nobody who's tried this before, once you go, you'll see that we're very truthful here. Is that right? When you're nude at the nude beach, nobody really pays attention or cares. It's when you have your clothes on at the beach. Now you get the stares. Hey, that rhymed, by the way. How about
It
that?
does. Oh, you're such a poet.
More of a poet than I knew. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
Uh,
so.
yeah. So if you show up at the nude beach and you sit on your towel and you still have your shorts and shirt on, and 5 minutes later they're still on, 20 minutes later they're still on, you'll get all kinds of looks, not only from people in the surrounding area, but people walking by left and right.
Hmm.
And sometimes they even point, like, oh, look at those people.
Yeah.
They were clothed 20 minutes ago and they're still clothed.
Hmm.
So that's the opposite of what you would get at a textile beach. You strip off there, and everyone's going to be looking. No one's looking at the textile people. So it is reverse on a nude beach. So when you get there, our advice is why wait? Even 30 seconds of losing sun on your body is 30 seconds gone forever. Just get your clothes off and enjoy. We can almost say this together as an audience, clothes free living
You
for all the
living
right
for all the
reasons as
right
soon as you
reasons.
can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, the thing too is I think that people who are timid and who don't, don't want to get, disrobe quickly when they get there, don't quite understand that naturists, embrace everybody when they're naked. I mean, but if you come and sit on a beach clothed, then they're going to think there's something else nefarious going on, and
Mm-hmm.
that you're
Mm-hmm.
there only to watch them. And so then there's I think a barrier comes up. And so if you're just sitting there afraid to do it and you want to do it, you know what? Just do it. And we've had, how many people have we had who've written to us who said, hey, I finally went to a resort after listening to the show. I wanted to, definitely, experience this. And I was really scared about driving up to to the resort, getting out, going in, and realizing the second I stripped my clothes off, I didn't care. It was that, they were frightened until they got there, and then they went, okay, I'm doing this. And off they came, and they walked out and they enjoyed themselves. And they never thought about it after those initial few moments of, oh my gosh, I'm naked.
Yeah.
And then they went, oh, everybody else is. So big deal. And off they
Yeah.
go. And
Yeah.
we've had them say to us that it was the greatest experience of their life when they were
Mm-hmm.
able to take that step.
Mm-hmm.
And we've heard it from, I won't say hundreds, but really a whole lot of people.
Yeah. Now, one thing I've noticed over the years, and this is how you can always tell if somebody's fairly new to this, is let's say a man and a woman show up together. They have their clothes
Mm-hmm.
on. They get everything set up. Clothes are still on. They spread the blanket out in the cooler, and they maybe serve each other a drink. And so time is starting to tick by, and they're still dressed.
Mm-hmm.
Then they sit down. Then they stay clothed for a bit, and they're talking to each other. And finally, it's always the man. Yeah, like every single time, the man will take his shirt off, and he'll sit there with no shirt. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now we're waiting. Everybody's looking at this point. And then at some point, the woman will take her shirt off, but won't put it down. She'll still have her chest covered, holding the shirt
Mm-hmm.
up. And then eventually they lie down or whatever. And sooner or later, the bottoms come off, but it takes them a while. Like, are you sure? I don't know about this. Oh boy. And the longer you wait, the more people stare and the longer they stare. So that's our advice when you get there. Get it off right away. That removes all doubt. It removes all staring. It removes all reason for people to
Mm-hmm.
stare. And so I really enjoyed that day. And we haven't been for a while because of the weather. We
Yeah,
experienced winter here,
we
10
sure
degrees real
did.
feel one morning. You're not going to be at the nude beach there.
No, no.
And boy, I wish we could go every day. Now we have, the pool here. We have
Yeah.
beach areas that are far removed from civilization, but it's not the same as being around like-minded people at
No,
the officially designated new beach, is it?
no, and really the beach is close, it's within walking distance, but being naked there would be a problem.
Oh yeah, yeah, you can't do that unless
There's
you're
no way.
really isolated and far away from
Mm-hmm.
humanity. But then it's just us.
Yeah.
We're not dealing with like-minded people like
Mm-mm.
with Bob and Cindy, and they say we can mention their name. Now you talked to me the other day about something you saw about a fashion show in Paris. What was going on with that?
Well, I was, I like fashion. I enjoy kind of watching fashion shows, even though some of them are absolutely ridiculous. And I was watching this one, and they had these beautiful evening gowns on them. And so I was enjoying just watching the glitter and everything. And all of a sudden, one of the models came down, and, the skirt was opaque. It was, very floaty. The top was transparent. And a lot of times when these dresses are transparent, they have strategically placed appliques or jewelry or embroidery to cover certain parts of the body, like nipples.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me tell you, this one did not. This one had all the appliques basically highlighting the breast. They were clearly visible. They were out there in the open. And my question is, why can they do it and we can't? I mean, it was like if I put that dress on and walked down the street where I live, I'd be in jail. because I was showing off. Now, we see a lot of Hollywood stars of red carpets and
Right.
other place events that they go to who do the same thing, who wear something really sheer and you can see their upper body clearly. But it's suddenly like this is fashion and it's okay for fashion, but it's not okay to walk down the street braless or walk down the street with no shirt on or walk on the beach with no shirt on. And I don't know if it's just an American thing, but yet again, they do this in Hollywood and other places where there are people of notoriety, celebrities, and they can get by with it and they don't seem to get into trouble. But I can bet you the average person would.
Yeah, yeah, especially here in the USA. And I remember two significant moments. One I was years ago, and one was, I don't even know, 15, 20 years ago, whatever. Cher came out on stage. I don't remember for her show, the Grammys, I don't remember what. And she had clothing on that was so minimal.
Mm-hmm.
If she had chopped off a billionth of an inch, you would have seen something you're not supposed to see on TV. Now, of course, a lot of people, wow, look at Cher. And,
Yeah,
that's sexualizing the whole nudity thing. If she
exactly.
had just come out totally clothes free, that would have been shock at first in the
Mm-hmm.
USA, but then we would have settled in. Okay, anyway, she's presenting an award or getting an award or whatever. And the other was Jennifer Lopez. She came out, I still remember green. She had
Yes,
some
I
kind of
remember
green
that
outfit.
dress.
Yeah, and again, like one wrong move, or if the air conditioner hits her at the right moment, it's going to be, we're going to see stuff on TV we're not supposed to see. But again, that's the whole titillating, sexualizing. Oh boy, look what I have, but I'm not going to quite show you. I'm going to keep a little intrigue going here, and we're all about in the naturism community. Quit the intrigue, quit the
Yes,
sexualization,
exactly.
again, clothes for living for all the right reasons. Just get them off and enjoy life instead of horsing around. Because I'm obviously not a woman. I've never worn anything that skimpy, but you have to be. I'm guessing if you wear something like that, like a billionth of an inch, and I'm in hot water here, that means you're probably really self aware and self conscious the whole time you're wearing it, right?
Very true. And then there's also some tricks of the trade because there's some sticky sided tape, double sided sticky
Yeah.
tape that people use to, to make sure that those small fabric swatches don't kind of fly off when they're supposed to. So
Right.
that kind of helps with that if they want to do that. But again, it comes back to it seems like everything that's out there advertising everything is very sexual in nature. It's very look at me, I'm going to reveal just enough to make you look. And that's okay. Apparently that's okay and I don't understand that because I think that everyone talks about about people who don't want to see this or children who shouldn't be exposed to it. I think that harms them more than it does if they saw a naked body. But
Oh,
that's just me.
well, there's no doubt about that. Lots of studies on that. If you're, and no pun intended, but if you're exposed to the human body early on, it's like everything else in life. It becomes
Mm,
normal and natural. You're exposed to drinking water, you're exposed to taking a
mm,
shower, you're exposed to this, that, and the other thing. And if you're exposed to the nude human body early on, it really is not a big deal then. And it never becomes a big deal ever. You
mm.
just accept it as humanity and nature as God intended for us to be. And that's the whole problem when you hide it. Well, now it becomes intriguing. If you have a door, like there's something behind that door, but don't look, well, now you're going to wonder what's behind that door.
There
And
you
you're
go.
going to maybe even lose sleep. I got to see what's behind that door. I got to see. I got to see. And many, many episodes ago, so we're probably talking like 60, 70 years ago on this show,
Probably.
I talked about that show, Love American Style. I saw
Hmm.
an episode, whatever, TV station or whatever. And it was Michelle Lee, and she was a stripper in a nightclub. And this guy went and saw her show. Eventually, they got together and started a relationship. And she was fully nude on stage, except for a pair of gloves.
Hmm.
Okay, whatever. That was her shtick, her little
Hmm.
act. Well, they get together and they're back at his place or her place, And the moment of romance begins. She takes all
Hmm.
her clothes off except for the gloves. And he kind of holds back, and she said, "Well, what are you waiting for?" And he said, "Well, the gloves. You still have stuff on." She goes, "Oh no, I never take the gloves off." And so, well,
Oh,
why not? I'm paraphrasing from
yeah.
memory of a long time ago. And she said, "Because that's the one secret I keep. If I take the gloves off, you'll see everything." Now, keep in mind, she was fully nude except for this pair of gloves. But so now he's thinking, okay, I can see this, I can see that, I can say, whoa, this is terrific, but I got to have the gloves off. And because
Yes.
that became the one thing that was hidden, and now his brain was filled in with intrigue as to what's going on with the hands,
Hmm.
and that's how the brain works quite often, doesn't it?
It is, and I mean, how many times if you tell someone don't do that, they do it. I mean, it's just if they said don't touch. I remember I was 5 years old, and there was my grandmother had a wood stove in part of like on the back porch that they used to cook things on, and it was like almost like a grill, but it was in a kind of an old fashioned grill. And I remember my father telling me, "Don't touch that."
Oh yeah,
So what did
there
I
you go.
do? My little
Mm-hmm.
5-year-old palm went right against it.
Mm,
And let's just say I had a nice little burn that took a while to heal.
yeah.
So, you don't learn. People learn the hard way. And it's ridiculous because when you say don't, people went, "Oh, you watch me, hold my, whatever, beer, wine, whatever." And it's ridiculous because that's what we do. We set people up to be objectified, men and women. There are men in these commercials and men in these shows that are definitely objectified as well, more so now than there used to be, because
Mm-hmm.
more women consumers are out there. So
Mm-hmm.
therefore, they use that for the women consumers as opposed to what they do. And so yeah, it's ridiculous, and it harms people, and it certainly hurts our standing and how people respect naturism. Because the second you say, "Oh, I like to be nude on the beach or in the house or whatever," and they go, "Oh, you're one of them," and
Yeah,
that's
sure.
the end of that.
Yeah, yeah, very well said. Before we go, and when we started these Wednesday shows back on July 30th of 2025, we said, most Wednesdays, but we also said about a half an hour or so. Well, every show has been closer to an hour. Last week was a little over an hour. The shorter shows have been 40, 50 minutes, but we're trying to keep this a little shorter, consciously, but there's a lot going on, a lot we want to say, a lot we're going to say, things we haven't even said yet, but we'll get to them down the road. But we've gotten a number of questions on this,
Mhm.
and I don't know why. People are just curious, I guess, but they want to know what our recording schedule is. And we don't actually, that is funny. We don't have a recording schedule because every single week is different. Now, I
Yes.
do try to conduct most interviews on Mondays. We must have the Wednesday show. I shouldn't say must. We try to have the Wednesday show done by Tuesday. So that gives me time to edit, post, produce, process everything else to put it up for you on Wednesday. And we try pretty much have to get the Saturday shows done by Wednesday. Same reason, but then I can get the Thursday preview done and the Friday promo done, which I can't do until the whole show is done. So we try to finish Wednesday shows by the end of Tuesday, finish Saturday shows by the end of Wednesday. Although I recall one Wednesday, we actually recorded on Wednesday, and then you left and I did all the editing, all that stuff we do here. And I think I got it posted at like 10 minutes before noon. Like we barely made it. And I thought, well, let's not do that again.
No,
And we
no,
didn't do it
no,
on
no.
purpose. It's just the way
Yeah,
the
that was a
time worked out.
crazy,
But yeah,
crazy day.
so there is no actual schedule, but we at the same time we plan every week. Like,
Mhm.
okay, when can we record this week?
Mhm.
And then so we do. I guess we schedule things out, but it's always the week of, or maybe on Sunday. So there is some rhyme or reason to it. But for those who think, oh, every Tuesday, by golly, they're banging things out, I wish we were.
Yep. I wish so too.
Yeah. But with everything going on in life and going here, going there, and whatever else is going on, there's no set schedule. So that keeps us on our toes as well. I'm sure you agree.
I do. I guess the only set schedule that we have is that we have to be done by Wednesday for the Wednesday show, and we have to be done by Saturday for the Saturday show, and that's about the only thing we do that we know is something set in stone, so to speak, Mr.
Yeah.
Stone. And it's yeah, so it's kind of crazy, kind of chaotic in a lot of ways, and but I sometimes think it adds to the fun because it's like, oh, we got to do this now. Let's go. Let's do it. And it adds a little bit to the enthusiasm in a lot of ways, or the total panic. Are we going to get it done in time?
Yeah, and it's totally different from when I did live terrestrial radio.
Yeah.
Now it's, I think we began at 11 o'clock a.m.,
Hmm.
not 11:02 or let's start earlier. Let's do it another day. No, it was, by golly, at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern time, your theme music is playing and you better be ready to speak shortly
You
thereafter.
better. You
And so,
definitely better.
yeah, so that was, you talk about being scheduled in advance. Yeah, it
Mhm.
was right to the second when we're starting. So we have a little more flexibility here, but you're right. There are deadlines, and we
Mhm.
have hard deadlines. Otherwise, we won't have a show on a Wednesday or a Saturday.
Exactly.
So we get it done, but every single week is different just because of the vicissitudes of life and our schedules, right?
Very much so. And we I don't want to say we record on the fly, so to speak, but
No.
sometimes we actually sort of, you know, say, "Oh, let's do this now," or "A kid, can you be here in an hour?" or whatever, and that's how we figure out how to do it. And we try to do it as early as we can, but sometimes that doesn't work either. So,
Yeah, and we do plan things out. We don't just show up and say, "Well, what do you want to talk about today?" No, when you get here, we're already set to go. We
right.
we we
We
talk billions of times every day.
mhm.
Like, hey, next week's show, why don't we do this? I don't think so. Why don't we do this? Oh, okay, yeah, that sounds good. And so we take notes, we jot things down, and do whatever. I don't want to say research, but that's a particular word with me that means something else. But anyway, we dig up the information that we need to present on the show. So we don't fly by the seat of our pants doing the show. We just kind of sort of fly by the seat of our pants week to week when we're going to do the show. That's
This
probably a
is
good way to explain it, right?
I think it is. I
Yeah.
think it's a very good way to explain it. And, again, like I said, we have two hard deadlines that we have to meet, and we work toward that goal in whatever manner we can every week. Sometimes a little bit more harried than the other times, but we get there.
That's true.
No, 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 no one cracks a whip and says, get in here now, but we definitely get there.
Well, that's a good point. We don't have anybody standing above us saying, hey, you knuckleheads are late. Let's get going. This is all on us. So to do that, I like to say we live in the adult world and adults
Yeah.
are responsible. So if you say you're going to do a show every Wednesday and Saturday, you probably ought to do a show every Wednesday or Saturday. Otherwise, you don't look like professionals because you're not. You don't even look like honest people because at that point, you're not. Like a restaurant, every day, open at 7 a.m., and then you show up for breakfast at 7, and there's a note on the door, not opening till noon today. Not good. Or not going to be open for the next 3 weeks. Not good. So living in the adult world, that's what we have to do. And it's not new for us. We've done it forever, right?
Very much so, and in both of the positions that we've had in our lives, there's chaos. There were things that had to be done, but in between those could be total chaos in trying to get those things done, along with 4 million other things that pop up. So you learn how to be kind of keep yourself on track and keep things kind of compartmentalized and put that aside to get this done and then put that aside to get this done, but then knowing all well that you better have the other thing done by 2 o'clock in the afternoon because that's when the meeting is, and you have to tell people why you need more money to do what you're doing. So it can get really crazy, and then meanwhile the phone's ringing going, I need your help, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, no, go away, just go away.
I think the wildest one I've ever had, and I told you about this. I was in my office with police officers. Something had
Hmm.
occurred. I won't
Hmm.
get into details, but they needed to interview me about what they were going to do next. I wasn't in trouble, by the way. Let's put that out there. But something had occurred where the police needed to be involved, and it was kind of serious. It was a serious deal. And so they were interviewing me, and I said, "No, guys, at 7 o'clock, I have to leave the office. Actually, 6:59, and walk down the hall because I'm presenting awards. There'll be about 1,000 people that are waiting for me to start the festivities. I'm the MC. Okay. So they're asking me all these questions, and I'm going through, detail after detail after detail, giving them the information they needed to complete their investigation. And at 6:55, I said, guys, I got 4 minutes. I have to do this, and then I can always come back, or we can set up another time. And at 6:59, I stopped them. I said, I have to go right now. I'll be done in an hour. If you want to talk, then they said, no, we think we have everything we need. So I went from a grueling, maybe an hour or so of dealing with the police, a matter that didn't involve me, but it's grueling when you're giving information like that,
Yes.
to instantly walking down the hall a few steps, walking on stage to the bright lights and say, hey, everybody, thank you for coming tonight, and being Mr. Smiles. When you can pull the trigger like that and change on a dime, doing a show like this becomes just a little bit easier, I think. What do you think?
Oh, I've done that a few times, as a matter of fact. Not the police thing, although I've had, investigations happening about certain things that have happened within the organization. And because I was in human resources, so much of the time I was necessarily involved in those things. But, there are many times when you go from something really serious and crazy to walking into a room full of people going, hi there, welcome here. Love having you here. And, just starting that whole process off. And so you learn to be on stage in some ways, I guess is what it is. But it's because that's what you need to be. And so you have to learn how to do that. And it can be tiring to do that. Very much so. But I mean, there have been many times when we've been like, oh my gosh, let's get this started, because, someone had been on the phone, someone was dealing with something else. And then all of a sudden it's like, and here you go, here's Lisa Monroe, or whatever that happens. And it's just, in a lot of ways, that's what's fun. I think that's what drives us, is all that energy and stuff that we have to create in order to even get anything accomplished. So I like it.
Yeah. Now, the stories we just told about your human resources, me with the police, me on stage presenting awards, none of that involved naturism.
No.
But I believe it's prepared us to do a naturism show as it turns out, every single Wednesday, definitely every single Saturday, because we've been through that ringer. We know how to prepare and bob and weave and adjust on the fly. And that's why we're continuing to come to you every single Wednesday now. It's supposed to be most Wednesdays. It never was most Wednesdays. It's been every Wednesday. And every single Saturday since July 1st of 2023. Man, we were really young back then, weren't we?
Oh, I'm telling you, just children, just absolutely children then. And, it does feel like it's been a very long time, yet it doesn't feel like we've been, it doesn't feel long in one way. And in other ways, it feels like this is something we've done forever.
Yeah.
And I think that all those things that we just talked about did prepare us. And the reason that we can continue to do this is both of us had in our jobs enthusiasm about what we were doing. We loved what we did, and we thought we made a difference. And for me in human resources, dealing with people, getting them, well employed, solving issues that come up, taking care of the people who shouldn't be there, it was rewarding in so many ways. It was also harrowing experiences in sometimes, but we were doing things we loved. And that's one of the things that makes it so different for us now, is that this is something we live, we enjoy, we want to do, and we want to share. And the fact that the feedback that we get is so strong and so amazing. And we've heard from so many people. I was not sure what I was. I didn't think it was right. I didn't think I was normal. And then all of a sudden they're not only knowing that they're normal and they're enjoying naturism, but they're now going out into resorts, into events, into things like that, and really enjoying themselves. And that's the path we want, the path to bringing naturism to everybody.
Yep. That's why we exist. That's why we do what we do. And Lisa Monroe, with that, let's duck out of here and head for the hills. And if you promise to stay as naked for the rest of the week as you are right now, we'll get together on Saturday morning for episode 179. Is that a deal?
That sounds good. And just remind me when Saturday is, and I'll be there.
Sunday, Saturday. We'll be here.
Yes,
We're ready to go. All right. Stay clothes free. We'll see you Saturday.
All right. Bye. Bye, everybody.
The very terrific Lisa Monroe as she goes sashaying her way out of the studio today. And you already know how much she does around here. The website, the memes, the merchandise, helps with the show, is my sounding board 25/8, maybe even 26/9 some weeks. And does a great job around here. We appreciate Lisa Monroe very much for her talent and her energy and her willingness to say, okay, Frank, let's do it. But usually with more enthusiasm than that. I just got to look through the window there. But we appreciate Lisa Monroe very much. We also appreciate you very much this time together, especially on Wednesdays. We get a chance to, I don't want to say kick back because we're still working hard, but we don't have the constraints of that 1 hour time limit that we put on ourselves for the Saturday shows. And we can relax a little bit. If we have an extra sentence to toss in, we can do it. We don't have to, well, I better not say that. It'll extend over our time. So we're a little more relaxed on Wednesdays. And if you want to really catch us at our most relaxed, that's the special content we release on the 10th of every month to the top 2 layers of our PPP, so you might want to check that out as well. Well, we do always want to hear from you. Email nakedforevermore@gmail.com. You can find us pretty much anywhere on Spotify, even through the YouTube page, our website, social media, Blue Sky and Twitter. Probably 5 million other places you can find us, and we enjoy hearing from you early and often. And we don't know where you live or your proximity to a nude beach, but if you can get to one, something that's designated as a nude beach or a clothing optional beach, I guess is more accurate, we encourage you to visit it whenever you get a chance. Don't skip work to do it. We don't advise that, but if you get a chance, just go out there and take it all in. Right out there in the open sky, the open sand, the open water. It's just all there for you, the open breeze on your skin. There's nothing like it. It's even better than your backyard, just being out there, not only out there, but out there with like-minded people. And it's just a different atmosphere, one that we wish we could experience every single day. Logistics and time constraints don't allow for that with us. But by golly, we're trying to tweak a few things around here and see if we can make a little more time to get there. And again, it's probably closer to an hour and a half away for us. So it's not easy. That means automatically 3 hours of the day will be shot from driving. But is it worth it? Is it worth it for mental health and the time to get away? Yeah, we think it is. So we're going to try to get there a little more often. It won't be every day. It might not even be every week, but we'll get there. And this most recent experience triggered us again. Like, why haven't we been doing this? And we encourage you to try it too, if you're able to do so. Well, don't forget to come back this Saturday, episode 179. The numbers are growing in terms of episodes, and numbers are growing in terms of listeners and Patreon followers and peeps. And we cannot tell you enough how much we appreciate you. This world of naturism, as you know and as you've discovered, there are some people who are not so nice in this world. They just want to use this world and this name, naturism, for monetary gain. And we're not here for that. We're here for you and to promote the cause and to promote the community and let you know, yeah, once again, that's how we were born. It's how God intended us to live. So when we are naked as jaybirds, we're the happiest we're going to be. The stress is reduced. The health benefits are increased. And that's why we are here, for you, for the community, for the greater good of naturism. And we appreciate you very much. So thank you again for being with us today on episode 178. And we'll see you in just a few days, Saturday morning, 6 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time on Spotify for episode 179. Well, you've been listening to Naked Nudists and Naturists, episode 178 today. We give you a brand new show every Saturday morning, 6 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time, and on most Wednesdays, 12 noon Eastern Time. Continue to join us. Check us out on our website, nakednudistandnaturist.com, Spotify, Google, Amazon/Audible, Apple Podcasts, and also on Twitter. You can write us anywhere, anytime, any place. And we thank you for being with us today. Plan to join us for every single one of our shows here and have your clothes off when you're listening. We have our clothes off when we're broadcasting, enjoying the naturist life.
We celebrate clothes-free living for all. Remember to enjoy being naked and join us again for Naked Nudists and Naturists.
We drop a brand new show every Saturday morning, so come back and join us. Have your clothes off when you do for Naked Nudists and Naturists. Have a great clothes-free day.